Last time we learned about Keith Haring, and we found out that he was a community artist or an urban artist. Here is him drawing in the subway, which is in the city of New York. And here he is with his artwork all over gallery walls and ceilings. And here is some art that he created on a hospital. So Keith Haring liked to work in the community and liked to work in urban areas. And here is finally him with a giant mural that he did in the city. Today we're going to be creating the background for our Keith Haring artwork. As you can tell, it is made out of newspaper. We reviewed before that Keith Haring was an urban artist and he was also considered a community artist. So using the newspaper is just going to amplify that feeling of his artistry. So what you're going to need is you're going to need a square paper. You're also going to need some newspaper. Hopefully you have some that has not so much color on it and is mainly just letters. You're also going to need some glue, and I would also suggest to have a paintbrush if you can. You could also use scissors or you could tear. It is up to you. I'm going to start by tearing. You can cut if you want to, but I like the way the torn pages look when they're on the paper. So after you tear, make sure that it's black and white. This is all black and white, so I'm good here. You're going to glue, and I usually do the edges. And if you have a straight line, it's good to find a straight spot to put it. So I'm putting that right there. Right here I have an edge, so that would be good for a corner. I'm gonna tear it. Again, look, it is black and white, which is good. And this might be good for right here because of that corner right there. I can have a neat line without actually having to cut. I don't really want to use this side because it has a colorful woman there. If you use color on your newspaper, then it will clash with the color you want to put on top, and you want it to contrast. You don't want it to be the same as the color that you put on top. So you want to have a neutral background, and that way when you have your colorful Keith Haring, it will stand out, it will contrast. This piece here that I tore, I'm gonna use this side because this one has color, is really good for down here. So when you tear a piece, see where it fits best. It's kind of like you're doing a puzzle, but you want your edges to be clean. So again, we are gluing the outlines and inside a little bit, and then we are placing it in the best spot. Right here, I have a little color, so I'm just gonna tear that part out. Remember, if you're not good at tearing, you may also use scissors. I prefer to do the tearing. We're gonna glue the outsides and then the inside. We're gonna place it in the best spot, and you can do some overlapping if you want to. I think that this is probably a good spot for it here. And if I tear this, I can place that right here. Now, some of that is sticking out, but I'm gonna show you what we can do if you happen to have spots that stick out. So right now I'm almost done. I have one more spot that needs to be filled in. I have a few pieces over here that I've torn, and we're gonna sort of fit them like a puzzle piece and see if we can cover up all of the spaces. So if I put that there, and I put this here, let's see if this covers up right here. Almost. There's a little spot there, but luckily I have another piece to put, and we are done. So we have covered our entire paper with newspaper. It's going to create a neutral background in order to put our colorful painting on top. However, it's not quite fully neat. Some spots are sticking up. If you see right there, that's kind of sticking up. It's going to be hard for us to draw on that. So I said that I suggest that you also have a paintbrush. What you could do is you can sort of add glue where your edges are. I see some edges here. And use your paintbrush to push that glue down. You don't want too much glue because you can't really draw a pencil on top of really big globs of glue. You just want enough that you're going to be brushing down those edges, and those edges will no longer stick up. Do you see that edge right here that's sticking up? If we glue it down, that edge is no longer sticking up. So please remember not to put too much glue, because too much glue will be hard to draw on when it is time to draw. Do you see how that stuck up? We want to brush it down. When we have finished brushing down our brush, and by the way, this should go in a cup of water so that your brush doesn't get too hard and we need to wash that out. We're gonna flip it over, and whatever sticks out, we're gonna cut off. I left some spots sticking out on purpose so that I can show you what would happen if they stick out. So you turn it over and you just trim those edges that stick out. All right, there we go. And now we have completed our neutral background for our Keith Haring painting. The next step is to let this glue dry, and then we will paint on top of it our Keith Haring painting. So we have finished our background, and next time we'll move on to this step.